Okay, so welcome, Fabiola. We are so pleased to have you here today. Fabiola Polli is the CEO of BioFashionTech, a clean tech startup launched in 2024 that develops a patent-pending enzymatic process to upcycle mixed and dyed textile waste without harsh chemicals, which I think that it's the best part of it all, into bio-based materials such as fermentable sugars and recyclable plastics. She holds a PhD in molecular microbiology and has an academic background in genetic engineering, human biology, and evolutionary studies. Alongside her scientific work, she has been active as a consultant in sustainability and the circular economy since 2018, and previously founded 𝗙𝗊𝘀𝗁𝗵𝗶ście, a venture dedicated to promoting circular resource flows in fashion consumption. Welcome, Fabiola. We are so pleased to have you here, and the floor is yours.
Well, thank you all for inviting me to this great opportunity to present the work that we have been doing. I'm going to share a presentation. Just let me know if you're gonna see my screen. And this is gonna be a very interactive presentation because let's say the idea is to have more company introduction than really an academic lecture. Of course, you can ask me anything, but the idea is to really see how the academic knowledge can pass to the society by building a company out of it. Okay, so do you see it? Not yet, I think.
No, yeah, but we can see your screen, yes.
Okay, great. Okay. Yes, it's loading. So welcome everyone. So a few more people, they just joined. Um, so for this presentation today, I would like to actually share with you some knowledge to understand, what is your knowledge about certain topics specifically related to fashion sustainability and the theory behind the synthetic biology. So I would like to go to 𝗙𝗵𝗕𝗶𝗃𝗹 and I will wait a bit that you get the link to go there. And then I will share the screen again to Menti, so we can do together the quiz. So we start with that. Okay. Tell me, guys, if you are there, if everything works okay. You should see the presentation. While I'm waiting for you, I'm gonna. Okay, then we'll stop. I will stop presenting and then. Okay. Okay. So the first question that I will have for you, and for the one that they didn't get the link before, this is the code to go to menti.com. And the quiz is about textile waste and what you know about also the impact of it on the planet. So, just to give you a brief overview for the people that know nothing about that, the fashion industry is one of the largest contributor to the global waste, with million tons of pollution created every year. And understanding recycling and sustainable practices is crucial for future generations. So let's start with the first question. How much global textile waste do you think is actually recycled into new clothes every year? Okay, I think we are all. And is it correct? Less than 1% of textile is recycled back to new garments. So all the rest, let's say 85% of it, is just incinerated, unfortunately. 15 between 13 and 15% is nowadays recycled, mainly mechanically and chemically. I will show you later on what we mean with that. But just to get you an idea, every year more than 92 million tons of waste we dispose into landfill. So it's a huge amount that we are not doing anything with it. Okay. The second question. What share of ocean microplastic comes from textiles? There is not right or wrong. This is a game, guys. So pick what makes sense for you. Correct. For the one that they managed to get the right answer is 35%. It's huge amount because unfortunately most of our garments are made of blend of fibers, and those blends are containing plastic fibers coming from petroleum. So when we talk about polyester, nylon, elastan, we are talking about plastic fibers that they are coming from fossil fuel, impacting enormously our ocean because, as we saw just before, only little amount is recycled. The big portion is disposed into landfill, and when it rains, this water from the soil and the landfill reaches our ocean and then ends up actually in our plates via the food that we eat. So last question. It's loading. Which of those can synthetic biology produce from textile waste sugars? Indeed, indeed, we can manage to produce huge amount of commodities products by transforming and giving new value from textile waste. But later on, I will explain what exactly also we do and how we get those sugars out of it. So thank you for now for be part of this little game. And now we jump into more the topic of the presentation. So we dig a bit more on actually what we are busy with on the daily basis. Okay, is loading? Yes. So we had already a beautiful presentation from a previous colleague about what is synthetic biology and how synthetic biology is actually giving value. But we sometimes forget that synthetic biology actually is a part of something bigger, and with this I mean is part of biotechnology, that is the application of biological system, organisms, and processes to develop new material, products, and solutions for human needs. So, when we talk about synthetic biology, we talk a special branch of biotechnology. And biotechnology nowadays is used a lot in businesses. So I'm trying today to merge for you the academic world with more the business side. And when we talk about, let's say, the synthetic biology, we focus on designing and reprogramming organisms with precision, like engineering DNA code or enabling tailor-made enzyme pathway, microbial factories. And biotechnology basically give us the method to use biology at scale, while synthetic biology give us the ability to design biology with precision. So we need to take into account then in most of the daily company work, we use then these specific tools to enable the biotechnology processes. And combined, they allow us to transform waste into resources and then create new sustainable material for fashion. So what we do at BioFashionTech on daily basis, we apply to fashion synthetic biology, so the tools to unlock circularity. And in this way, we design microbes, enzymes that can tackle blends of fabrics, and we then build microbial platform to transform these waste into a feedstock that creates huge high value output as pigments or new fibers. If we move forward, as we was saying briefly before, over 92 million tons of textile waste are generated every year, and most of them end up in landfill, polluting the ocean, as we saw. And the big challenge is that nowadays we have just, let's say, two solutions. The main one is mechanical solution, and now there are few emerging chemical recycling solution that they are actually struggling a lot with the mixed fiber that I was explaining to you before. What are those mixed fiber? Usually, if we look at one of our garments that we wear, one of our t-shirts, is usually made of cotton and polyester. Well, this is a mix, and we have many mix with many different composition. Like sometimes we have 40% cotton, 60% polyester, or the other way around, different colors, different type of blends, because sometimes we go also to more complicated situation where we have also, like in the denim, nylon, elastan, and so on and so on. And this is a huge problem because there are no solutions. So one of the biggest problems is the limitation of the current solution to tackle all these mixed garments that they represent most of the polluting items. So our biotechnology solution that is patent pending, what it does, replaces these chemical and mechanical methods that they are mainly focusing on one stream of waste, also usually one type of color, one type of fibers, with a solution that actually can processes all type of mixes without sorting. And these offer a clean, scalable alternative. I have to also say to you that mechanical processes, besides focusing on only one type of fiber, also they need certain length of the fiber. So at a certain point, those fibers are so short that anyway they cannot be valorized anymore with this type of methods, and they will end up anyway in becoming waste. While with the chemical recycling, you have to think about that when you depolymerize with a chemical solution, a fiber, you get molecules, different molecules. It's like a soup where you have carrots and then you have peas and beans, and then pick them up and sort them out isn't easy at all, beside all the pollution that you are using and generating. in forms of the chemical. So we decided to create a three-step process that allow us to valorize the waste in three essential steps. So we start with shredding, then we use our biotechnology treatment for the fiber separation, and then we recover the valuable material out of it. In this way, what we get a very important output like fermentable sugars and plastic fibers that they can be reused as an input to create outputs like pigments, bioplastic, cosmetic ingredients to contribute really to a circular economy, because then you create a zero waste solution. The recycled plastic that I was talking about can be recycled PET, for example, no? One of the most present fiber, or nylon, and they actually can return in this way into quality fiber packaging, reducing the dependence on the virgin plastic, so the dependence on on fossil fuel. And in this way, we can create materials that are both eco-friendly and also stylish. At the same time, we can also, from cellulose pulp, create new vegan leather, as we heard before. Now is also a hot topic, create new vegan leather or biodegradable fibers as a sustainable alternatives. So we basically create innovative material that they can make better the future of fashion items. At the same time, those fermentable sugars that come out from those processes, um, they can be used to create pigments. We heard before that, for example, OGM microorganisms have been used to create those pigments. In our case, we don't use OGM microbes, but we use direct evolution to improve those bugs and make them be able and we also use other techniques to make them be able to produce certain type of pigments in higher amounts. And but of course, when you talk about biotechnology, you talk about environment, ecosystem. So collaboration are important, and especially collaboration with cosmetic company and fashion brands are important, and because they give you feedback about the product, the research and development that you are doing, about the product that you are creating, and at the same time, they also help you to innovate and create sustainable practices to reduce this textile waste, but also to make your company better. Because you always have to remember, guys, that you start everything as a startup, so a juvenile company, and then you need to learn from others. The best way is to create partnership, to create industrial cooperation that are really essential, believe me, to advance in general sustainable innovation, because otherwise we will be always droplets in the ocean. At the same time, what we did in our journey, from the lab, you need to move a bit higher on the production scale. And we created some pilot plants where we got textile waste fibers from different collector and sorter companies. They give us the very low quality products, and we managed to transform them into fermentable sugar that have been used for PLA production, while the plastic fiber that we recover have been used to create syngas, to create energy out of it. So we proved that the system was able to work also outside the lab, and actually the product that we were making out of it were very useful for other companies that they are looking for alternative raw material that they don't impact the planet. But of course, nothing makes sense if we don't measure our impact, because we can say a lot about sustainability, but numbers count. So we need to measure always what are our environmental KPIs to understand what actually we are doing and how much we are actually trying try to save in terms of in terms of CO2. In our case, we measure that each tons of textile waste processed with our solution could avoid more than 2.4 tons of CO2. And this means saving more than 8,600 liters of water and achieving more than 90% of recovery. So this was a brief overview about BioFashionTech and what we are busy with. But I want to highlight that, of course, we can recycle the waste, but we don't have to produce waste. So we need to really rethink the production model for transitioning from linear to regenerative fashion system in the textile industry. Because what I want to highlight is not that if now we find a solution to recycle waste, we keep polluting even more because, now we have the solution. That doesn't make sense. So, of course, ahead of us, but I would say for ahead of all fashion companies, there are many challenges. And some of them are related to the scientific research because, as we heard before, money are essential to do research. So if we don't get money, if we don't get support, there is no innovation. Then also, this is very much connected to the phase that is immediately outside the lab, so the scaling up, the piloting phase. For that one, you need even more competences and even more money. So technical hurdles are very, very important. And of course, nowadays we live in a society that sustainability is very important, but everything has to make sense related to the economic side of the project. Because if you create a pilot plant or an industrial plant that just consumes money and doesn't generate any value, or in very long time, like it really takes longer to process, then there is a problem. I have to be honest. You can think about a very beautiful solution, but they need to make sense on the economic side. And of course, bioplastic, as I was saying, was a PLA, was one of the outputs that we were collaborating with another company to make, and is a very beautiful alternative for packaging, as well as the vegan leather, because it reduces reliance on animal material. And I'm very much fan of pigments from waste, because of course they are impacting the planet in a very, very good way. So I would like to thank you for listening to me. And of course, if you are now also thinking about your startup, if you have already your startup, I work also as a consultant and also as a life cycle assessment mentor. So you can reach out to me to know more about BioFashionTech, of course, or to have support. I'm here to help you out.
Thank you so much, Fabiola. We have really liked your insights and to know the process of BioFashionTech. I think that it's a very interesting company, and your profile also. I mean, you do things that are quite innovative and that are really necessary for the world of synthetic biology. So now we are going to go through some questions. I have myself some questions. So, oh yeah, if David wants to go first.
Thank you, thank you. Very inspiring talk. Thank you so much, Fabiola, for the presentation and also the insight that you gave from your perspective. I guess there is one major question that is always asked in this context, which is how should we progress from now? Should we try to invest as much as possible on the companies that are sustainable so that they can compete with the ones that are already present? Or should we demand different policies so that the market is kind of more favorable for sustainable companies, even though the performance is not exactly the same as the ones that are already there now?
No. Thank you for the very interesting question, and you got the point. If there is no, let's say, leverage, no, if there is no reason for the company that they are polluting to change the system, they will not do it. They will not pay for a better solution, because it's always about the money. That's why I brought also the economic, because everyone here his love for science, and me too. But things they have to make sense in the society from the economic point of view. So regulation policy are the only one that can really make the difference, because they can really push those brands to do something different as they did until now. At the same time, they can also push other companies to start to use more and more the alternative material, that the alternative raw material that have been now created. So yes, everything starts with policy, and of course also with the company economic assessment, because a company also needs to survive beside this type of let's say rules and fees, so both have to be present. Yeah.
Thank you. I wanted to ask you if, well, you said that you work as a consultant. So I wanted to know what do you think that are the main challenges apart from like when you want to start your own startup, or when you are creating when you are transforming your project, because as you know there are lots of projects that are born in laboratories but they never make it to the outside world. So what do you think that are like the main problems or the main things that people that want to have the startup should know in beforehand?
Another beautiful question. The thing is that most of the time startups fail and ideas fail because they are born from scientists, and then you are brilliant in do what you do, but you are missing a lot the all other part, that is the business part, the innovation part, the selling part. And I was there as well. So I was born as a scientist, but luckily I come from, let's say, a fashion family. So business was always part of my life. I trained myself with an MBA. So then, let's say, my salvation was that I had the knowledge, also the other part of the knowledge to build what I built. And most of the startups, they don't have the other side, and they don't think how important is that. That's why I'm always saying, from the beginning, try to have few hours per week a support of someone that brings on the table others' perspective that you are not looking at. Because you can look on ChatGPT and say, how I build a startup. Yes, start with a business plan. Of course, but it's not that easy. It's not, you need to talk with someone that sits with you and really does the work in a proper way, because we have many tools nowadays, but the human part, I would say, is still the most important. So, brilliant idea. Spend this 1 hour, 2 hours with someone that really helps you out to see if it make any sense. And then if it does and you connect with that person, maybe that person can even help you further, bring you network, bring you money, bring you, because maybe you have very interesting idea, that could be really something big. But if you are trying to use your knowledge or your friend knowledge or ChatGPT knowledge to build a startup, it doesn't work.
Thank you so much. We have a couple of questions in the chat. Okay, so first of all, they want to know at what stage in a startup timeline from idea to market is a good time to contact your consultancy?
Immediately. Immediately, because you are starting well, if you find, of course, a consultant that brings on the table both economic and research knowledge, of course, because if you're bringing a person that is just thinking about the economic side, he will never understand the research that you have ahead. But if you have someone that knows both, he will tell you, listen to me, there is always some percentage of error in the R&D plan that you are thinking of. So from this TRL to this TRL, you actually need to count X time more. Then from this one to this one, this other one. And then we need to start to look for more money at this stage. So that's why I say those knowledge about TRL, about error, and things that you don't expect are popping up immediately in a research project, and a consultant can help you immediately with that.
And they also want to know if at what stage of your career you studied for your MBA?
Well, later on, because I have to say was a very expensive stamp to have for myself, but I was coming already, as I say, from a business family. So let's say that was for me an extra thing that I wanted to have really the formal, no, the official part. Uh, I don't recommend it to do it immediately, guys. Also because you need to have under your hands the experience of doing business. Because when they talk to you, it's like when ChatGPT tells you, the financial part of a BDTA. Yes, a BDTA, but you study, a ChatGPT also can tell you. But when you are doing really the financial counting of your company, you know better what it is, because at the end of the money are coming from from that calculation. So you need to know first by yourself what is it, and then of course, university studies they make you smarter.
Thank you so much. I mean, I think that it's super insightful because at the end, there are very few scientists that have, as you say, these both sides of synthetic biology. Because at the end, biology is also economics, also social studies, and there are very few scientists that can merge both. And I wanted to ask, well, this is, I think, I know that it's patent pending, but I wanted to ask if if you can recycle all of the fibers that you can imagine. Like, can you recycle linen, cotton, polyester? I mean, all of them, or are there specific ones?
Yes, we can recycle all the cellulosic based material, man-made and not man-made. For the people that they don't know, it means the one coming from cotton, hemp, linen, viscose that is man-made, or new special fibers now regenerated from pulp. All of them can be transformed with this solution, and all of them, I mean, also with different colors, with different blends also. We saw with the nylon or elastan, or just nylon polyester, or lycra, anything.
Okay, thank you so much, Davide. I think that you have a question.
Yes, I wanted to ask, in a synthetic biology context, it's a field where doing experiments and making any kind of technology is super expensive, and unless you have a lot of resources, it's quite difficult to continue. So for a startup that just wants to start, let's say that somebody has an idea, how do you gather the resources if you only have the idea, you maybe don't want to immediately like be a branch of some bigger company or some partner that takes a huge amount of shares, let's say, just to give you some money? Do you know of any resources to start to do experiments, to provide equipment or these kind of things?
Yes, so this is the most difficult part. So start with your saving. I burn all of mine. I have to be honest. If you have something that you can sell, sell it. So it's an investment in your life, no? So it's like when you play poker, no? Or you go all in or you don't play. So that's it. So family, friends, full, especially full. So people that they believe in the project from the beginning, of course, engage with them, saying that you are talking also with a consultant that explain to you that this makes sense, because also family and friends, they will be always there for you, but the risking is very important, always, even from the beginning. Also because the money goes faster than you expect, and even if you calculate something, then you are last step and you don't meet that amount that you needed, the frustration is huge. So start with your saving, and at the same time start to apply for research grant. But even for that stage, you need to have talk with someone that gives you advice before. Because even for a research grant, you need to write it down in a way that makes sense for people that talk about business, And that's the way to start. And how I started.
Thank you so much. And I think that if anyone has got any question, in the meantime, I want to ask one final question because I'm really intrigued because it's very rare to find someone that has all of these branches in synthetic biology. So I wanted to know, as a consultant, do you think that what do you think that are the challenges right now in global startups? I mean, what do you think that should be done for them, or what do you think that is lacking in most of the startups that we can find right now?
This is a very important question. What I see that that is missing is there are many startup accelerators, so mentoring can be available. The thing that is missing is really the merging the gap inside the team. Because sometimes I do see startups that indeed they have a scientist, but then they have a business person, but they don't know how to talk to each other. And they're or sometimes they are just team made of very good friends from the lab or very good economists. But most of the time, those teams, they don't work. And then after they reach out, maybe for the first pilot, they blew up because they don't manage to talk, because in the first stage is more research, the second is more business. You also need to merge the frustration of someone that tells you, my dear, I love research, but we cannot do that. Now you listen to me, we focus on this part. You have to really hold your tongue and your hands, because you would like to do more and so on, and it seems that you are wasting time. And all those things, so the human aspect is very much under evaluated, very much. That's the thing that I'm seeing now, very much. This aspect, and this is also why a consultancy is also useful, because it tells you how to talk to each other, in a sense that, okay, in this phase is this, in this phase is that. And even if you think that there is a good relationship, it's never a good relationship, because startup is like this. The startup journey, the money journey is always like this. Research journey is always like this. So try to make sense out of it. Very complicated from the human side, and from the psychological side. Because a very good consultant also gives you the motivation when you don't have it. That is very important.
Yeah, Davide?
One last question. We had previously some CEOs from some companies, and somebody from the chat, from the audience, asked an interesting question, which is any resource that in your journey during the startup might have inspired you in the form of a book or a movie, or anything that you would like to suggest to our audience? I think it could be inspiring from somebody that's already ahead, let's say, in their startup journey.
Yes, I would say go to networking event.
Okay.
There are many books. You can really ask ChatGPT, they will tell you maybe 1,000 all your life reading books. Beautiful, very much knowledgeable. But they are always related to phases also of our economy, of our society, of what is happening. Maybe for that person, he was lucky because at that moment things were healthy. So you need to go out and talk with startuppers that they are doing that in that moment. Talk with them. And it's the best book that you can read.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. And what can we know? What can we expect from BioFashionTech in the future? Are you developing any special things, or what are the next steps? If you can tell us. I mean, I don't want to be nosy.
Well, for sure, I will invite you all to follow us on social media, because that's important. Even if we are B2B, follow us, because we are fun. In a sense that very often we share also funny lab stories. So it's also to see them, to reconnect with the lab work that everyone has. And yes, I can share two things. We are soon kicking off a very important project that is going to last 4 years, is with other 13 companies. And so it's a very beautiful project that will keep us quite busy. And then there is for us a pitching in November. So if you want to also support with us on that one, is a part of the ET Jump Start, the EU ET Jump Start. So it's another beautiful event where startups, but also researcher and everyone that wants to get close to that environment can attend and can come and talk to me, even presence, or support us in presence. It's always beautiful. And just from the technical side, we are busy with scaling up. And don't estimate that part, guys. Don't think that from lab you go to 10,000 leaders like this. Like, there is nothing in life that is like this. So if someone tells you, give me money, I will help you to do this, don't trust it. Don't trust me. Just I want to share that. So write me, I will reply to your email saying the same. Yeah.
It seems that we have a question in the chat. And with regards to networking, industry conferences are very expensive. Can you suggest some alternative networking events?
Because we startupper, they don't go to industrial events, they go to networking events for startups. So join those ones because we have no money, so most of the time those events are free. So, or reach out to a startup that you are connected to. Also start to, what I also say, if you really think that that could be a journey for you, start with an internship, start with a traineeship in a startup. We also always have vacancies and so on, because you may be start and then you realize that it's not for you, that it's not the environment for you, because reality is completely different from what you are dreaming in your head. So I would also say nowadays there is much more this opportunity of join a startup for a few months. Why not do that?
So thank you so much. I mean, I think that it has been really, really interesting to see this other side and to hear from an expert from you in the field, in both fields. I think I can say. So I thank you so much. And if you are comfortable with it, we would be delighted to share this meeting with the rest of the people, so anyone can learn about your insights. And so,
Yes.
like this, we have finished this first session of the third week of the BioFashion Month of the Society of Synthetic Biology of Europe. So thank you so much to all the attendees. Thank you so much to both lecturers of today, and we really, really, really hope to see you all soon in Thursday, in which we will have a policy panel, in which we have invited Diogo, the COO of Polybion, and a researcher from the University of Paris, I think. So thank you so much, and see you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye. Bye. Bye.